The 200 years of Mughal rule from the 16th to the 18th centuries had promoted the country's trade and industry. Weaving was the leading industry in India at that time, but artistic crafts were not far behind. Even as late as the beginning of the 19th century, shipbuilding was more developed in India than in England. The British conquest of India broke down the whole framework of Indian society. It was clear from the very beginning that the British had not come to India to make it their new home as other invaders had done. They had come to rule it in order to expropriate as much of the rich resources of India as possible. In this chapter, we are going to study the following concepts: decline of Indian handicrafts industry and deindustrialization. Industrialization. Decline of Indian handicrafts industry. Major factors of decline. The British colonizers had no intentions of preserving and promoting Indian arts and crafts. There were three major factors that, taken together, sent Indian arts and crafts, including weaving, into decline. The ruthlessly exploitive colonial policies, the downfall of princely states and their rulers who had long patronized Indian handicrafts and created conditions conducive to their prosperity and growth. With the coming of the industrial age, its mass-produced, mass-market products defeated the high-quality, low-production, class-market goods which traditional industries produced. Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution enabled the British manufacturers to improve the quality as well as the output of British textile goods. In addition, the company started importing raw materials, that is, cotton from Bengal, at rock-bottom prices to feed the cotton-starved mechanized textile mills in England. Due to the sophistication of machinery, vast quantities of cheap cotton goods from Manchester flooded the Indian market and almost killed the native industry. Deindustrialization. As we have seen, 18th century India was known for its manufacturing and agricultural outputs. But the exploitive commercial policy of the company and the British Parliament intentionally destroyed Indian manufacturers right from the early years of British rule. The company forced Indian agriculturists to grow raw produce such as cotton and indigo in order to supply raw material for the looms and manufacturers of Britain. Along with the destruction of the rural Indian economy, the British also embarked upon dismantling Indian industry by similar partisan tactics. This led to the deindustrialization of India. The scarcity of indigenous capital caused by the enormous drain of wealth and the disrupted conditions of the country owing to the misrule of British company made it impossible to revive trade and industry. Deindustrialization. At the same time, the policy of permanent settlement gave an impetus to agriculture and investment in land. Thus, while the loss of industry drove more and more people to agriculture, the available capital was diverted to land acquisition by rich landlords who exploited the peasantry mercilessly. Gradually, the trade of the country passed into the hands of Europeans. The massive imports of British goods into India during the 19th century finished off the languishing Indian textile and other industries. This whole process of decay in rural and urban handicraft production is termed as deindustrialization. Peasantization. Deindustrialization also upset the balance of economic life in the villages. The simple peasants who had supplemented their income by part-time weaving and spinning now had to rely solely on agriculture. Pressure to grow uneconomical crops, heavy taxation, exorbitant rates of interest charged by moneylenders, and underemployment completely destroyed the Indian handicrafts. This forced shift from handicraft industry to agriculture is known as peasantization.